The gavel struck the bench with a sharp crack, but Judge Victoria Hayes was already gone. Gasps echoed through the packed courtroom. The attorneys froze mid-sentence. The jury members exchanged bewildered glances. One moment, she was presiding over the most explosive trial of the decade. The next, her chair sat empty. No one had seen her leave. No doors had opened. The security cameras? They showed nothing. Judge Victoria Hayes had vanished, without a trace. Was she taken? Did she flee? Or was this something far more sinister? Before we dive into this chilling mystery, don't forget to subscribe and share. Because this case is about to take a turn no one saw coming. Judge Victoria Hayes was no ordinary judge. She was known for her fearless pursuit of justice, her ability to cut through deception, and her refusal to bow to pressure, no matter how powerful the opposition. Over her decades-long career, she had presided over some of the most high-profile cases in the country. But this case, this was different. The defendant was Alexander Grayson, a billionaire with deep ties to politics, law enforcement, and international business. Accused of orchestrating a multi-billion-dollar financial fraud, bribing officials, and even tampering with evidence, Grayson's case had captured national attention. The media painted him as either a ruthless mastermind or a victim of a larger conspiracy. But the one thing everyone agreed on? This was a trial that could change everything. Judge Hayes had already shown she wouldn't be swayed. From the first hearing, she dismissed Grayson's attempts to delay the proceedings. When his team filed for multiple appeals, she shut them down. When key witnesses suddenly went silent, she demanded further investigation. She knew this case was bigger than the courtroom. It was about power, corruption, and control. And then, she disappeared. In the hours following her unexplained vanishing, law enforcement scoured every inch of the courthouse. No security footage showed her leaving. Her chambers were untouched. Her car was still in the lot. Nothing suggested she had planned to walk away. Then, detectives found something chilling. On her bench, beneath the gavel, lay a single playing card, the Queen of Spades. Why would Judge Hayes, known for her meticulousness, leave behind such a cryptic clue? Was it a warning, a message, or the key to unraveling something much deeper? As the investigation deepened, it became clear this wasn't just a disappearance. This was the beginning of something much bigger. The discovery of the Queen of Spades sent shockwaves through the courthouse. Judge Victoria Hayes wasn't the type to play games, and yet, here was a playing card, a symbol often associated with mystery, deception, and hidden danger. Detectives combed through the courtroom, searching for any sign of forced entry, hidden passageways, or overlooked details. Nothing. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. But then, the second clue appeared. As the investigation stretched into the night, Judge Hayes's personal assistant, Claire Morrison, returned to her office to retrieve files. Sitting atop the judge's neatly stacked paperwork was a single white envelope, one that hadn't been there earlier. Inside was a typed note with just 3 chilling words. She knew too much. The message was cryptic, but it confirmed one thing: Judge Hayes's disappearance was no accident. Someone had orchestrated this. With Judge Hayes missing, authorities turned their attention to those who had the most to gain from silencing her. Alexander Grayson, the billionaire defendant whose fate rested in her hands. If she ruled against him, he'd spend life behind bars. Grayson's legal team, ruthless attorneys who had fought to delay the trial at every turn. Could one of them have arranged for her removal? Corrupt officials, Judge Hayes had made powerful enemies throughout her career. Had someone in law enforcement or politics helped cover up her disappearance? A ghost from the past. As investigators dug into her records, they uncovered a long-forgotten case from 20 years ago. One where the lead witness vanished under eerily similar circumstances. The biggest breakthrough came 48 hours later when the courthouse security team re-examined footage from the trial. What they found was chilling. The last recorded frame of Judge Hayes sitting at her bench showed her in perfect clarity. The next frame, she was gone. There was no movement, no sign of her leaving, just an empty chair. The footage wasn't just missing moments. It was as if time itself had erased her. The tension in the courthouse had reached a breaking point. Journalists flooded the steps outside, flashing cameras capturing the chaos, while inside, the judge's chambers remained eerily undisturbed. It was as if she had never been there at all. The Queen of Spades, the mysterious letter, the missing security footage, each clue seemed more impossible than the last. And yet, none of them provided a real answer. Then, a breakthrough. An anonymous tip led detectives to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. It was a location that hadn't been linked to the case before, a place with no apparent connection to Judge Hayes. But something about it felt wrong. When law enforcement arrived, they found a single desk in the center of the vast, empty space. On it lay Judge Hayes's robe. There was no sign of struggle, no evidence of blood, no hint as to how it had gotten there. But next to it, another card, a joker. The message was clear. Someone was watching. Someone was playing a game. Back at the courthouse, another twist. The defense team for Alexander Grayson moved quickly, filing a motion to dismiss the case due to the judge's disappearance. It was too convenient, too well-timed. As if this had been the plan all along. But before the motion could be ruled on, something even stranger happened. A message appeared in Judge Hayes's courtroom, scrawled across her bench in red ink. She is still listening. The handwriting didn't match anything on record. No cameras had captured who had done it, but the implication was chilling. Judge Hayes wasn't just gone. She was somewhere, watching, waiting. The case wasn't just about Alexander Grayson anymore. It was about something much bigger, something buried deeper than anyone had realized. And whoever was behind this wasn't just trying to stop justice. They were trying to erase it entirely. With no ransom demand, no physical evidence, and a growing conspiracy, investigators faced the most terrifying possibility of all. Judge Hayes might never be found. But one thing was clear. Someone wanted this trial to disappear, just like the judge. The words on the judge's bench sent chills down the spine of everyone in the courtroom. She is still listening. No one had seen anyone write it. The ink was still fresh, yet security footage showed nothing. It was as if the message had appeared on its own. The prosecution and defense teams were in disarray. Alexander Grayson's lawyers pushed harder for a dismissal, arguing that without a presiding judge, the case had to be thrown out. But the prosecution wasn't willing to let go, not after everything that had happened. There was too much at stake. The media frenzy intensified. Theories spread like wildfire. Some believed Judge Hayes had faked her disappearance to expose a deeper corruption in the justice system. Others insisted she had been taken by forces even Grayson couldn't control. Then, a new lead emerged. Judge Hayes's personal assistant, Claire Morrison, remembered something. The judge had recently received an unmarked package just days before the trial began. No return address, no sender. She hadn't thought much of it at the time, assuming it was another legal document. But now, in light of everything, it felt like a missing piece. Inside the package had been a USB drive. No files, just a single line of encrypted code. When investigators decrypted it, they found court transcripts from a case that never existed, a trial that was never held, a defendant with no record. And at the bottom of the transcript, a single phrase: "Find the last verdict." The meaning was unclear, but one thing was certain. Judge Hayes had been onto something long before she vanished, and whatever it was powerful enough to make her disappear. The question now wasn't just where she had gone, it was what she had uncovered. The courtroom had become more than just a place of justice. It was now the center of a mystery that refused to be solved. Judge Victoria Hayes was gone, but her presence lingered like a shadow over every conversation, every piece of evidence, every theory. The message on the bench, the playing cards, the hidden transcript, everything pointed to something much bigger than a single trial. The prosecution fought to keep the case alive, but without a judge, proceedings were indefinitely suspended. Alexander Grayson's legal team celebrated their temporary victory, yet there was a tension even they couldn't ignore. If Judge Hayes had uncovered something dangerous enough to make her disappear, how long before it came for them too? Days turned to weeks. The media moved on. The investigation into her disappearance stalled. No ransom demands, no new clues, no witnesses stepping forward. It was as if she had been erased. Then, one final twist. Claire Morrison, Judge Hayes' assistant, received an unmarked envelope in the mail. Inside was a single sheet of paper with just 3 words: "Not yet over." The handwriting was unmistakable. It was hers. The judge was alive. Somewhere. Watching. Waiting. And the game was far from over. What do you think really happened to Judge Victoria Hayes? Leave your theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unsolved mysteries.